When you talk about global economic, military, and cultural influence today, one name immediately stands alone: the United States of America. How did a nation born just over 2 centuries ago evolve into the world's sole superpower? And before America's rise, who held the keys to global destiny? From its start as 13 scrappy colonies declaring independence in 1776, this country is now militarily unparalleled, economically dominates global finance, and culturally is woven deep into the fabric of daily life worldwide. What are the core reasons behind this monumental ascent? Let's pull back the curtain on the making of the American superpower and the empires it succeeded. The concept of a superpower isn't new. From the Romans' 1,000-year reign to the British Empire where the sun never set, history is filled with dominant world powers. But why did their power eventually wane, and how did the United States manage to seize the mantle of global leadership? The first seeds of America's power were sown in its geography and natural resources. Flanked by 2 vast oceans, the U.S. was largely shielded from the constant wars and conflicts plaguing Europe. Massive tracts of fertile land, coupled with abundant mineral wealth, especially coal and oil, provided the perfect foundation for the coming Industrial Revolution. This isolation allowed the country to build its economy unimpeded by foreign invasion or prolonged conflict. Following 1800, the Industrial Revolution propelled America into becoming the world's largest industrial powerhouse. By the late 19th century, while older powers like Germany and Britain were preoccupied with colonial rivalries and internal competition, America leveraged its immense internal market and a culture of relentless innovation to surge ahead. The crucial leap to superpower status came directly through the 2 world wars. While the primary European powers destroyed their economies fighting each other, the U.S. remained safely distant, acting as the world's primary arsenal, selling weapons, food, and extending massive loans. At the end of the wars, in stark contrast to a ruined Europe, the American economy was intact and commanded nearly 50% of the world's total GDP. Crucially, after World War II, the 1944 Bretton Woods Conference designated the American dollar as the international standard for trade, the reserve currency. This cemented the dollar's and thus America's overwhelming influence on the global financial system. The post-World War II era saw the rise of the Cold War. The Soviet Union became America's sole major adversary. This ideological standoff fueled sky-high military and technological investments, from the space race to advanced weaponry. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, the U.S. emerged as the world's unipolar or sole superpower. Its unrivaled military strength, technological superiority, and global network of military bases solidified this dominant position. Before America, one of the most enduring superpowers was the Roman Empire. From 27 BC until the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Romans were unmatched in military organization, law, and engineering. They held sway over much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East for over 1,000 years. The most recent global superpower was the British Empire. From the 18th to the early 20th century, the British ruled over a quarter of the world's land and population. It was truly the empire where the sun never set. Their industrial revolution, naval dominance, and military might made them the undisputed masters of global trade. However, 2 devastating world wars and independence movements across their colonies ultimately eroded their economic and military backbone. For a time after World War II, America was not the sole superpower. It faced a fierce rival in the Soviet Union. They challenged the U.S. ideologically and militarily, particularly through the space race and the nuclear arms buildup. This era was known as a bipolar world. Yet, internal economic decay and political stagnation led to the USSR's eventual collapse in 1991, leaving America as the unchallenged global hegemon. History teaches us that no superpower lasts forever. American power rests on three critical pillars: economic might, military superiority, and cultural reach. However, as is always the case, emerging powers, most notably China and Russia, are now actively challenging this long-held American dominance. The United States seized the leadership mantle through a unique blend of geographic fortune, unparalleled innovation, and strategic advantage gained from the failures of others. Yet, as global relations evolve, the question remains: will the seat of the world's superpower shift in the future? And if so, who will claim it next?